because in terms of the mechanics of sex, it's very easy. Everyone and anyone can do it. But in terms of experiencing pleasure and heightened pleasure, if I might add, that's something that many people don't necessarily experience. So that's why I like to, research and study different cultural traditions and understand how they viewed sex and intimacy, and to try and debunk some of the misconceptions that people have. So, for example, a lot of times religion is often blamed. And whilst I can understand in some cases religion has been detrimental to some people's sexuality, it's also been very positive and liberating for many people. So there are, like you mentioned with Dr. Ruth, she wrote a fascinating book about sexuality from a Jewish perspective, and about it being a holistic and sacred experience for both the man and the woman to enjoy. Likewise, in Islamic tradition, you have many Islamic scholars dating back to the 9th century who wrote, phenomenal pieces of work on erotic literature and the importance of mutual satisfaction. So this idea that religion is anti-sex or anti-pleasure, I would argue against that, because even when many people speak of the Kama Sutra, that is based on it from a Hindu perspective, which is a religious perspective. So, and everyone takes from that. So I don't think it's fair to kind of say all religion is bad, because some people practice some religion, have used it, unfortunately, to control female sexuality or demonize some people. So it's about, just like I said, having a holistic approach and seeing different cultures and how they've understood intimacy and sexuality. I'll give you another example as well. So in North America, native North America, there's I'm not going to be able to pronounce the tribe properly, but I think it's Kudushka. And this is a native tribe, and where they speak about the different types of genitalia, both for the man and the woman. And they linked and they categorized the genitalia to different types. So like 8 types of genitalia for the man and 8 types for the woman. And the whole point of like categorizing the genitalia and naming them different things like the deer woman, the wolf woman, and these type of things, was because the whole idea was that people would feel proud of their genitalia, irrespective of however it looks, the size, the shape, and what have you. So in this day and age, a lot of people are pressurized to kind of attain this so-called quote unquote perfect vagina or perfect vulva, whereas in ancient traditions, people felt more comfortable to embrace their body the way it is, and the different forms of genitalia, and they were exposed to the different forms. And also it was believed that if you've got a certain type or size or look of your genitalia, it means certain things. Now, again, for me, what was fascinating about it was, like I said, they were taught from a relatively young age to see the variety of the different types of genitalia, and also for them to identify with, okay, maybe I'm more like such and such type. So they feel they didn't have this sense of shame in terms of the way their body looked. And I know I said I was going to say last point, but we have a similar tradition in Rwanda, where it's a bit of a controversial practice, but they in parts of Rwanda and Uganda and Kenya, parts of those countries, they practice some labia elongation, where women's genitalia or inner lips are elongated. And the whole idea, which is quite fascinating, especially in comparison to how we look at the female genitalia in the Western world, and I'm assuming it might be the same in India as well because of porn, women were proud of having elongated lips, and it was seen as beautifying and beautiful. Whereas nowadays in the modern world, it's like a lot of people are obsessed to kind of want this quote unquote Barbie vagina, designer vagina, but it's tucked in, and in all honesty, kind of looks like trying to replicate a genitalia that looks like the Barbie doll or a pubescent child, which is quite problematic because of porn and some other outside influences. Where you've got other cultures, like I said, in native North America, as well as parts of Africa, where they celebrate the different types of female genitalia, and it's not supposed to look one way. So that allows, I think, a woman to feel comfortable in her own skin and the way she looks, as well as for the man to embrace the different types of bodies, and again, genitalia in particular, because we see different examples of the female body shape and with the whole body positivity movement, but I don't think we see enough examples where women feel comfortable in terms of their genitalia and the way it looks, and how all types of genitalia sizes are normal. So I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to kind of educate people who've been miseducated from what they've seen in popular culture, porn, or from their friends.
Great. Okay, I mean, that's quite a knowledge. I mean, I really need to make notes, because some of it is like, and you don't find all of these in a